You have been walking the long way home. Not because I am far away, but because shame convinced you to keep your distance after you failed. You believe there is a road of penance to walk before you are allowed to come near to me again. You call it respect. You call it knowing your place. But the father in the story I told in Luke chapter 15 was not waiting at the end of that road with his arms crossed. He saw his son coming from far down the road, and before the boy could say a word, he ran to meet him. And right now, as you hear these words, that is exactly what I am doing in your direction. So lean in, child. Nothing is being rushed here, and there is no inspection at the door. I am not standing at the far end of the long way, waiting to see how sorry you are. I am already on the short way, walking toward you while you listen. What you have been calling humility is something older and quieter and far less kind to you. It is the reflex to hide, and I am not going to scold you for it. I am going to show you where it came from, why your heart keeps reading the old map, and one line from my word, written long before you drew a single breath, that I want to become the ground you finally stand on. Notice the order of things. The shame comes first, and then the distance. You feel the heat of a failure in your face, and almost before you have finished feeling it, you are already turning, already drifting, already taking the side door away from the one you think you have wounded. The turning feels automatic. It feels like the truth. It is not the truth. It is a habit your fear taught your feet. I see the particular tiredness this puts in you. Some of your tiredness is just the day. Some of it is the weight of years stacked behind the day. But there is a layer of weariness that comes from a different source, and you may never have named it. It is the cost of the long way. It is the energy you spend avoiding the prayer, circling the silence, stepping around the part of your own heart that already knows what I would say if you let me near enough to say it. That detour has been costing you more than the failure it was supposed to cover. The detour is the heavier thing. Unclench your jaw if it has been clenched. You may not have noticed how tightly you were holding it. Let it soften for the length of one breath, not to manufacture a feeling, to loosen something honest. The body that is loosening is a body I formed and called good. The person reading these words is not someone I am embarrassed to be near. Whatever you think you did, whatever quiet pattern of self-removal has you circling far out of your way to keep from passing too near your own home, I'm telling you plainly, come the short way. Come the straight way. Come the way you actually are. I have watched this in you for a long while, and I have never once flinched. You fall. You feel the sting of it. And the very first move you make is away from me, as if the failure had somehow stretched the distance between us, as if a son who trips in the kitchen has to crawl out to the yard and earn his way back through the door. That is not the house I built for you. That is not the father I am. Your instinct to flee is the exact opposite of what would actually help you, and it has been quietly governing corners of your life you have stopped even noticing. I do not raise my voice when you arrive with mud on your shoes. I do not turn cold when you come to me unpolished and unprepared. I am the one who put the light on at the door the moment you started walking the wrong direction. The light was burning before you even knew you were lost. Let me show you how specific this gets, so you know I am not speaking in generalities. There is the version of you that opens a note on your phone to tell me something honest, types half a line, and then deletes it because the words look too raw on the screen. There is the version that closes a message to a friend halfway through, certain that what you really feel would be too much for them to hold. There is the prayer that used to be long and has quietly grown shorter, until some days it is only a sigh you would be ashamed to call prayer at all. None of that is hidden from me. None of it lowers my estimate of you. I am not standing at a distance grading the quality of your reaching. I am leaning close to catch the part you almost did not send. There was a man at the very beginning of the human story who did exactly what you do. He took what was not his to take. And the moment he heard my step in the garden, he did not run toward me to tell the truth. He ran for the trees. He sewed himself a covering out of leaves that were never meant for covering anything, and he called that being ready. When I called for him, what came out of his mouth is the same thing I keep hearing from you in 100 different phrasings. I was afraid, I hid. He believed distance was the cure. He had it exactly backward. The distance was the wound. The walking back was the cure. And here is what he could not see in his hiding. I was already moving toward him before he ever decided to be found. I tell you that old story so you can find your own reflex inside it. The hiding did not begin in you. It began in a garden long before your name existed, and the medicine has not changed since. What heals it is the same as it always was: coming back. Coming back soon. Coming back the short way. Look closer at those leaves he stitched together. They did not make him less afraid. They made him more aware of being afraid. His covering covered nothing. His hiding hid nothing, not from me and, in the end, not even from himself. The hiding made the shame louder. It turned a single afternoon's mistake into a whole season of dread, and then into a story humanity is still wrestling with. The mistake was real, but it was the avoidance that gave the mistake its long shadow. And that, child, is what you have been carrying. Not the weight of the wrong itself, the weight of the leaves, the covering, the dodging, the whole apparatus you built because somewhere you stopped believing I would receive you as you came. Hear this carefully because it matters. The map you have been following was drawn by your fear, not by my love. Your fear insists I keep a ledger. Your fear whispers that one more failure finally moves you to the wrong side of a door I close gently behind you. But your fear has never actually met me. It has only met a picture of me that other people painted. People who measured you and called it love. The version of me you inherited from the ones who weighed you is not me. The voice in your head that demands you apologize for breathing is not my voice. The voice that warns you, my patience is running low, is not mine either. My patience has never run low. It has never run out. I have never once stood at the edge of giving up on a person who was still drawing breath. Not one, not ever. Now hear what I am truly asking. I am not asking you to feel ready before you come. I am not asking you to repair the thing first and then bring me a tidied version of yourself. I am not waiting for a polished prayer. I am waiting for the unedited one. The one that says, I did it again. The one that says, I do not understand why I keep doing this. The one that says, I am tired of myself. Bring me that prayer. That is the one I have kept the door open for, not the version where you have already worked it all out. The version where you have not. Because here is what you cannot see from where you are standing. The moment you turn toward me instead of away, something heavy slides off your shoulders that you did not even know you were carrying. It is not the weight of the failure. It is the weight of the avoidance. It is the exhaustion of all that looking away. The failure becomes small the second the avoidance ends. Avoidance was always the larger thing. Avoidance is what hands a single stumble its strange power over your imagination. Let me say something you may not be ready to hear, and I'm asking you to hear it anyway. Part of the reason you keep landing in the same pattern is the running itself. Yes. The very flight you believe is guarding your dignity is what keeps you trapped in the loop. You stumble, you hide, you wait. And by the time you come back, you are weaker, hungrier, more tired, more easily knocked over. So you stumble again. So you hide again. Your cycle is not your character. Your cycle is the route you take after the fall. Change the route, and the loop loosens. Change the route, and what looked like a chain begins to look like nothing more than a habit you were never required to keep. So change the route. Take the short road next time, and the time after that, and the time after that. Has any of this found a real place in you? Then before we go on, let your hands open. Both of them, resting in your lap, palms turned up. Not a dramatic gesture, just an honest one. Hands that are open cannot keep gripping the old map. Hands that are open are the posture of someone who has decided to receive instead of hide. Let them stay that way a moment, and let yourself notice how unfamiliar it feels to hold nothing. Now picture the distance you have been keeping from me as an actual road. See yourself walking it. See how much of your day it eats. See the wear on your feet and the dust on the hem of your clothes. See how the long way has burned the back of your neck. Then picture the other road, the straight one. See how short it is. See how the door at the end of it already stands open. See the porch with the light still on. That is the road I am calling you on to. I want to give you that earlier line now. Not as a slogan, but as a correction you can hold up at the fork. When the urge to vanish rises in you again, when you feel pulled to disappear from me until you have made yourself presentable, put this in front of the reflex and read it like a sign at a crossroads. The map you are about to follow is not mine. That one runs through trees and shame and weeks of silence. Mine runs straight from where you are standing to where I am already moving toward you. It is short. It is clear. There is no toll on it. There is no checkpoint at the entrance. There is no list of qualifications carved above the gate. The gate is simply open. And here is the tender part, the part I most want you to keep. I am not waiting at the end of the long way. I am walking the short way to meet you. Even now, even while you hear these words, the instant you so much as turn your face toward me, you will find I am already nearer than you thought possible. This is not my idea of dramatic language. This is written. This is who I have always been in your direction. This is the line I want to put under your feet. Luke, chapter 15, verse 20. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion, and ran and embraced him and kissed him. Read it slowly. Take it apart, clause by clause, because every clause is carrying something for you. While he was still a long way off, the son had not arrived yet. He was not cleaned up. He was not forgiven on paper. He was still on the road, still in the distance, still wearing the smell of the place where he had wasted everything. And that is exactly when his father saw him. His father saw him. The father had been watching the road, not the gate, not the polished homecoming he might have demanded. He watched the horizon, searching for a shape on the long road long before that shape was close enough to recognize, and felt compassion, not anger first, not a lecture rehearsed for the moment. Compassion. The father's heart moved before the son's foot reached the porch, and ran. This is the line your fear cannot survive. The father did not stand at the door with his arms folded. waiting to see how sincere the apology would be. He ran. A dignified man in that time and place did not lift his robe and run down a road for anyone. He ran anyway. He covered the distance the sun could not cover. He reached the boy before the boy had finished the speech he had practiced out in the field among the pigs. That father is my self-portrait. I did not place that story in my word for scholars to debate. I placed it there for the tired one, walking the long way home, the one rehearsing a speech he thinks he has to get right before I will receive him. The son never finished the speech. The welcome did not wait for it. And notice what the welcome was and what it was not. It was not a settlement of accounts. It was not money returned or a position restored or a guarantee that the wasted years would be reimbursed by the next season. It was nearness. It was a face against a face on a dusty road. The son had spent his inheritance, and what the father gave back was not the inheritance. It was himself. That distinction matters more than you know, because your fear keeps trying to make your homecoming about the things you want repaired. Whether the situation turns, whether the relationship mends, whether the door you have been waiting on finally opens. I do not promise you a tidy outcome on a schedule of your choosing. I promise you the one thing the Father ran to give: presence, forgiveness, a place at the table you were sure you had forfeited. That is what is certain. That is what was settled before you ever set out on the road. So look back at the road I described at the start of this message. The long way. You have been walking out of shame. Here is why your heart keeps choosing it. Your heart has been reading a map your fear drew, a map on which I am a distant figure at the end of a hard road, arms crossed, waiting to be convinced. But the true map, the one written into that line in Luke, has me running down the road toward you. The reason the old reflex has held such power over you is simply that you believed the wrong picture of who waits at the end. Change the picture, and the road changes with it. So here is something small you can carry into the rest of your week. The next time you stumble, before you analyze it, before you spiral, before you start drafting an explanation, no one is requiring of you. Say one short sentence. Say it out loud if you can, or under your breath where only I can hear. Say, I am coming home now. That is the whole of it. Do not improve it. Do not add regret to season it. Just, I am coming home now. Then turn, even if you can only turn on the inside. An inward turn is the entire journey. The outward step will follow when it can. You may not feel anything different the first time you do this. You may not feel different the 10th time. But somewhere around the 30th time, the old reflex rises and you answer it with that one short sentence. You will notice the long way starting to feel strange to your feet. The straight road will slowly become the route your body takes without deciding. That is how a person breaks a cycle. Not with one giant act of will, but with the smallest possible turn, made again and again, each one fresh, with no shadow cast by the one before it. I know the inner desert you have been crossing, the stretch where the thirst for being loved goes unanswered, and the heat of other people's judgment burns the ground under your feet. You have walked it, half believing that the distance was a sentence I handed down, a punishment for the failure you cannot forgive in yourself. It was never a sentence. The crossing is not me withholding water. It is the very season I draw nearest. The season I uphold you when your own strength has reached its limit. The tears you cried where no one could see did not fall into nothing. They reached higher than you imagined, all the way to a place where I keep what is precious. I do not forget a single one. The road feels longest precisely where I am carrying the most of its weight. So do not measure my nearness by how the circumstance is going. The two are not the same gauge. A hard stretch is not evidence that I have stepped back, and a smooth one is not proof that I have drawn close. I am steady through both. What I am asking is not that you fix the weather of your life before you turn toward me. I am asking only that you stop reading the storm as rejection and start reading it as the place I have my arm around you most firmly. There is a lie I want to lift off you while we are here, because it has been doing quiet damage for a long time. The lie says there is a quota, that you are allowed a certain number of failures before I begin to tire of you, that somewhere there is a tally being kept, and one day it tips into a column you cannot recover from. There is no tally. There has never been a tally. What I keep is a different kind of record. I keep the moments you turned back. I keep the small, honest sentences you spoke when no one was listening. I keep the times you came the short way, when every habit in you was dragging you the long one. Those are what I treasure. Everything else has already been carried by the cross. You are not on probation with me. You are not buying your way back into a room you were never thrown out of. You are not trying to wear down a tired father into tolerating you one more time. You are a child, and the whole house is yours. The door is unlocked. The road is short. The only thing in the way is the old map still clenched in your hands, and you have already started to let those hands open. So let it fall. The ground will hold it. You do not have to carry your fear's directions all the way to a home that was never hard to find. I have not been speaking to lecture you, and I have not been speaking to make you feel small. I have been speaking because I love the person you are when you are not running. I love the version of you that comes home before the shame has time to thicken. That version is the real one. The one who hides is a frightened copy. I want the real one. I want the one who walks in still carrying the dust of the place where he fell. I want the one whose hands are still unsteady. When you stumble, come quickly. When you fail, come dirty. When the words will not come, come without them. When you cannot pray, come and sit. When you cannot sit, come and breathe. There is no posture I require and no condition I demand. There is only a short way and a long way, and I am asking you gently and steadily to choose the short way from here on. Hear the deeper thing now, because the running has roots, and the roots are older than any single failure. You learned at some point that approval was conditional. You learned that love had to be earned by performance. Maybe a parent taught you. Maybe a teacher. Maybe a community that weighed people on a scale they could not see. Maybe a season when the people around you pulled back the moment you stopped meeting their standard. You learned that lesson so thoroughly that you applied it to me. You assumed I ran on the same terms. I do not. I never have. A God your wounds describe to you is not the God speaking to you now. This one has been waiting for you to notice the difference. I keep account of every moment someone failed you in a way that made you assume I would do the same. Not to use it against them, to untie it in you. Each of those moments is a small knot in your map, and each knot makes the long way feel like the only way. I am untying them. More slowly than you would like, perhaps, but more thoroughly than you can picture. The knots will loosen. The map will simplify. The road will straighten. One season you will look up and realize you cannot remember the last time your feet chose the detour. That is the direction we are walking together. If there is a secret you have been carrying, a thing too heavy to say to anyone, you can set it down with me without fear of being repeated or weighed. I will not divulge what you bring. I will not stand back and tally it. tell me the part you have rehearsed never to tell, and watch how the telling itself loosens something. The shame thrives on being unspoken. Bring it into the open between us, and it begins to lose the room it has been living in. You do not have to find elegant words. A single honest sentence does more than a flawless apology ever could, because honesty is the whole architecture of nearness. Without it, prayer is only decoration. With it, even a tear on the back of your hand reaches me before any sentence does. There is something I want you to feel about being known. Most of the people in your life know a managed version of you. The one with the smile in the right place. The one that can be carried into a room and presented. The one that has an answer ready when someone asks how you are. They do not know the version that wakes in the hard part of the night and does not know what to do with itself. They do not know the version that has, more than once, wished the next day would not come. I know that version. I know all of them. And the one I came for is not the public one. It is the one no one else has access to. That one is mine. You have carried a fear that if I saw the hidden version, I would withdraw. The opposite is true. The hidden version is the one I came for. The hidden version is who the cross was for. Your public self is already managing. It does not need rescuing. It is the one underneath the managing who needs me. And that is the one I have been beside the whole time. That one has not been alone for a single moment. I have been in the corners of the rooms you cried in. I have been in the car you sat in by yourself. I have been with the hidden version, faithfully, for as long as the hidden version has existed. So let me say it once more, and let it land deeper this time than the first. The door is not locked. The map is not accurate. The road is shorter than your fear has been telling you. I am already moving toward you. Shame is a climate of distance, not the truth of who you are. Your cycle is a route, not a verdict. And healing is the short way back, taken every time. Not only on the days you feel strong enough to deserve it. I have one question, and it is the same question I asked in the garden. Where are you? Not because I do not know, I always know. I am asking because I want you to step into the open and answer in your own voice. I want to hear you say it, so that you will know I heard you. The asking and the answering are part of how shame loses its grip and nearness comes back. Here I am. That is all you need to say. 2 words. Say them, and the long way folds up behind you. Say them, and the short way appears under your feet. Say them, and the door I've held open since before you were born swings the rest of the way wide. Say them, and the hiding version goes quiet. And the real you, dust and all, unsteady and tired, walks in and is held. Here I am. Practice it. When you stumble again, those will be the only words you need. Amen. Before you go, let me leave you with something small to hold. If this message found the place in you that needed it, write home in the comments as a quiet way of marking the truth you are choosing to hold today. That you are done walking the long way. That you are taking the short road back. I read them, and I am glad when you do. And if this reflection found a quiet place in you, send it to someone you know has been walking the long way around their own healing. And stay close, because there is more to come, and I want you here when it arrives.